Ishwarama's resplendent sun. It's the start of a bright new day. Time to rise, time to shine, Lord divine. Time to lead us along life's way. Awake, Lord of Buddha party. Awake, O Lord, over all mankind. Awake, O Lord of compassion, that the world good fortune may find.
Oma Sadgamaya Masoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amrutam Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Sai Surya Vidmahe Sathya Dhimahi Tanna sarva prachodayat. Om Sai Surya Vidmahe Sathya Dhimahi Tanna sarva prachodayat. Sai Surya Vidmahe Sathya Dhimahi Tanna sarva prachodayat. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Sai Ram to all of you. We have all listened to the Amrit, the flow of nectar of teachings from Bhagavan Sathya Sai during this holy Mahashivratri day. And we have been elevated by the most divine music of the big bhajans in the Akhanda bhajan, and also his teaching. I thought it might be a good idea to underline the bottom line, as it were, of what Bhagavan had said. It is impossible to put it and convey and communicate the profound and lucid expositions Baba had given us, has bestowed on us that great good fortune. But our greatest good fortune is listening to him and thinking of him in the bhavana sense. That he represents the Shiva Tattva. This is an occasion when we must bring to our mind and to our intellect and above all to our conscious knowledge the fact of his being an incarnation, as some of the great Vedic scholars have put it, of Shiva. I had mentioned to you this aspect earlier in our last meetings here, but I'd like to dwell a little more. That basically, according to a very strong body of opinion, and this is only the opinions, that Shiva Tattva and Sai Tattva, that Sai Tattva and Sai Rahasya, Tattva is the essential nature and principle. Sai Tattva is the same as Shiva Tattva. Now, Swami had told us and brought us back to the importance in this connection of Mahashivaratri also of constant remembrance of the divine by thought, word and deed, as he said, involving all these trikaranas, the trifold instrumentalities of the mind, the mouth, and of course the hand also, when he was referring to the importance of nama smaran, nama samsmaran, and divya nama sankirtan. Because Swami has given us the mantra, the Taraka mantra. Just as Shiva gave this Taraka mantra, the mantra that gives liberation, and that famous mantra which has Rama, Rama mantra. That is called Taraka mantra. Taraka means Tara. Tara means to cross this ocean of samsara. This boat, this mantra of Ram is given by Shiva in Banaras, as the Puranic lore, legends go. People migrate to Banaras towards the end of their long life in order to obtain liberation to the city of Banaras. Because what they say in the Puranic and in the Vedic culture, this is very important, that those who pass away in Banaras, irrespective of their caste, class, creed, or their even sadhanas, or their purva janma, that means their previous lives, whatever the status that they might have had nothing to do with the finale, that they would reach there for liberation, because this Taraka mantra, Shiva, at the time of the the final moments of one's passing away, Shiva is supposed to come. He resides in Banaras. And he is supposed to say it into the ear of the person who is in the last moment of his life. He's teaching that great mantra of liberation. And that is called Taraka Mantra. So just as Shiva had given that, this is one more reason. Apart from the fact that in Mahashivaratri days, Swami used to bring out the Shivalingas, and his whole life, day in and day out, he's materializing Vibhuti, which is an expression of the Shaivik power, of Shiva power. And apart from the fact that his own name, which is Sai, has been defined to be equivalent to, in its meanings, Saha, iti Shiva uchyate, Ai iti Amba prakirtyate. Sai means Samba Shiva, according to this great Vedic scholar. So, to whom he had given the vision of this great Shiva. So, apart from all these other reasons, and like Shiva, he's a Tattva Bodhaka and a Jnana Bodhaka. As the saying goes, Puranic saying, for Jnana, it is you have to approach Shiva. He is the God or the Mahadeva, the God of gods, the Guru of Gurus, just as Swami is, he's the Guru of the Gurus. Guru or Guru. That is why he has given this. The Guru gives you the mantra. The final mantra for complete liberation is given by Shiva only, according to this particular way of looking at things, as I say. Not that there is any difference between the various expressions and manifestations of that divinity. The final word of liberation in the mantra form, with its great potency packed into it, is at the time of the final moments of one's being on this earth in human form, is given into the ear. It is recited by Shiva himself. That is why people have gone or continue to go to the city of Banaras. Now, this is called the Moksha Mantra, the mantra for liberation. Swami had given various methods, and he explained the meaning of Rama, its Sankhya Shastra, the number Shastra, and all that. And I don't want to repeat that for you, but I am giving the kind of reasoning that can inform us, to elevate us to the Shiva consciousness, Sai consciousness, which is more, if I may say, there is no invidious distinction here or comparisons, more in relation to Shiva. Swami's life is a very austere life. Austerity, that is Shiva incarnation, is an austere one. But he is also a Sulabha. He is also a Bholanath and Sulabha for bhaktas. That means he is very easy to approach, and he also shows you the easiest, the most straight, or the straightest, if I may use the word, path for liberation. So therefore Swami has given us the easiest path in Kali Yuga. Kalau namasmaranadeva. In Kali, the age of Kali, Kali is filled with Kali Mala, filled with, it's a sinful age. But not anymore, because Bhagavan has taken this human form and he is right before us to liberate us from the sins of this Kali age. Kali Mala, Nashaka. He is the one who would destroy the sins which attach to this age when the dharmic, the bull of dharma, walks not on the four legs, but on only one leg, the three other legs being cut off, as it were. Now, he had said something very important and interesting. He said, we are extremely fortunate. Those who are dwelling in this Prashant Nilayam, this is one of the bottom lines he said. I was really amazed when he said that. We not only do here the Bhava Sankirtana, the Guna Sankirtana, I will explain these to you, the Leela Sankirtana and the Nama Sankirtana, these four-dimensional methodology or techniques for aligning yourself with the divine vibrations is taking place simultaneously here. Now he said something which he did not say it. So he said this is unique. But why this is unique is because you cannot combine these four simultaneously. Because this requires, when you are thinking and you are feeling, when you are doing something, there are four-dimensional. It is called as though you are operating at four levels of consciousness. And we, with our limitations, are really unable to do it. But the thing that makes it unique, which Swami may not have said, but we all know why this is so very unique in this particular place. Because it is only in the divine presence. It is in the presence of the divine personality that the very object, the goal, the subject, it is only there that you will see this, that you would experience, as it were, this confluence, this congruence of four streams of elevating our consciousness by feeling, by thinking of those qualities. Feeling is bhavana, thinking and getting in ecstatic manner, feeling about those qualities, and then the name, mentioning or repeating the name or chanting the name. And so Bhava Sankirtana, Guna Sankirtana, Leela Sankirtana, and dwelling on the sports, the games, the dramas, the beautiful sports that we see that Swami plays, all these are expressions of the divine. Only in the presence, in the direct presence of the divine, can this unique combination of these four types of yoga, if I may call it, the yoga of bhavana, bhavana yoga, the yoga of Leela, Leela Bhavana yoga, the Guna Bhavana yoga, and the Leela. So the yoga of Nama Yoga, the yoga of the name. So these four yogas are supremely united in unison because of the vibrations of the divine personality right in front of you. This is the unique nature. And that is why when Swami said that, I immediately knew that he gave examples of those who went by the feeling alone, the kind of devotees that went by, who were animated themselves with the feeling dimension, with, if I may say, quote and unquote, the emotional dimension, which is still not very emotion, mood making. It is not mood making. Bhakti is not mere mood making. Bhakti is not really emotion. Bhakti is not even feeling in the ultimate analysis, because there must be this congruence of all these four elements. And that is the true bhakti. And that bhakti is the product, as it were, the congruence, as it were, the combination of the totality of these four yogas. And that is possible only in the presence of the divine personality. We are indeed very fortunate. That is why we are doubly fortunate. Not only we combine this in the various bhajans that he got, but he is there for you to facilitate this unison, this united enterprise, as it were. This is not the right word. The united in unison, in harmony. But he has emphasized both at the individual level and at the group level, group musical chanting, samyaka kirtana, sangita sahita kirtana. So he has said, Bhagavan Nama, samsmarana, that is constant remembrance of the divine name. The name itself is even more powerful than the form that he has said repeatedly earlier. But the bottom line there is the name lives much longer than the form that you see today. In any case, the name evokes in you the totality of that personality, just like the Sai Gayatri does. Sai is there in the first one, that he is Ishvara. This is our consciousness. This is how we understand the Sai to be the divinity himself. Then in the second part of that, we meditate on that God of truth, because that is Sathya Sai. And then we want enlightenment. We pray for enlightenment in the third part. And there we address him as the all in all. That is Sarvaha, Sarvaha. So, he is the Sarva Janapriya, Sarva Bhakta Janapriya, number one. He loves, love is God, as he says. And he loves all people, all devotional methods, Sarva Dharma Priya also. All the paths that lead to the divinity, he is Sarva Dharma Priya. Then he is also, because this is very important, Sarva Mahima, Mahimatmaka. He is the embodiment of all the Mahimas, of all the powers, the majesties, the glories of the divine, Bhagavan. So therefore, if we think of this in this form, I come to this particular formulation once again in order to recapture what he had said, how fortunate we are, because take in the Hindu pantheon, I shouldn't use the word Hindu, which is a foreign expression, the Vedic methodology, the legends that in the Vedas, we have the 5 cities, or is it? The 4 cities maybe, but anyway, I may have. One is this Indrapuri. Of course, the earth itself is supposed to be the Bhogapuri or the Karmapuri or whatever you may call it. There is the Swarga, the heavens, which are presided over by Indra. That is called Indrapuri, is called Amaravati. Those who do perform sacrificial acts, good acts, beneficial acts, but with desires, with some fulfillment for their kamas, they go to the Swarga. That is, and he presides over Indra, the one who presides over all our limbs and all our indriyas, the senses, the lord of the senses. Because basically we are a bundle of senses. And he presides over each one of those senses. All these 33 crores of the divine personalities, they rest with Indra. Indra is the ruler of Swarga, as it were. This is all symbolic, but also extraordinarily powerful. Vedic hymns have praised the glory of Indra and Indrapuri. Indrapuri is the city of Indra. So those who have done all their great acts of beneficial acts, but with a tinge for their own personal and other fulfillment of certain desires, to the extent that they have accumulated that merit, the word merit, sin is selfishness and merit is selflessness. So they go there, but when once their merit, the accumulated merit, the stock of merit is depleted, they would have to get back to this land, to this earth of Bharata Bhumi once again. Karma devatas are there, various types of devatas, divine principles are there. I don't want to go into that to you now. Then there is, first there is this Indrapuri, limited in a certain way, but extraordinarily divine to bring you to near to the Lord of the senses, so that control over senses becomes the main element there. The other Puri, after Brahmapuri, Amaravati, this is called Amaravati. The other is the Brahmapuri. Or you might even go earlier to actually say the Brahmapuri is the creator's, the city of Brahma, the creator, not Brahman, the supreme absolute reality principle. Not the Parabrahma, but the functional principle who presides over the function of creation, that is called Brahmapuri. Brahma Sayujyam. Those, now, the denizens, as it were, or the people who live in the Swarga, are the devatas, the functional deities which preside over the principles which of our sensory perceptions, and those human beings who had accumulated merit to last for a long time, go and come back. They are the denizens or the citizens of that Indrapuri. In the Brahmapuri, the denizens or the citizens of that Brahmapuri are the Rishis, the Rishiloka, the sages who have seen the light through the Vedic knowledge. Now, that particular formulation, they are in fact, they know the final liberating knowledge, but for the benefits of the lokas, they charge the batteries of the world, even the batteries of the creator, as it were, the functional creator. So the denizens of that Brahmapuri are the rishis, the sages, the prophets, or whatever you may call. I don't want to give the words, but the sages, the rishis, the terminology of the Puranic lore and the Vedic lore. But they themselves are still at a level, not they inherently themselves, but they are there in order to charge the batteries of the world of relativity. This is one of the paths that we go through, as we say. And then there is the Devi Puri, the mother, the universal supreme mother principle, the Manipuri, because we all come from the Nabi. Manipura chakra is here. Swami had explained how the navel, it is there from we get our sustenance when we are children, when we are babies inside the womb, for instance. Now, that is the key to the Maya, the seven veils. One of the things that Swami had used. So, Devi is the mother principle. And that Puri, the city of Devi, is called Manipuri. Manidvipe nipo pavanavati chinta manigruhe. It is the great Shankara had, in his most wonderful versification, described the joy and the bliss that when he has reached the feet of the mother, and Sai is the mother also, as we say that. So now we have the Indrapuri, then we have the Brahmapuri, then we have the Devi Puri. Swami is the Devi, is the Janani, Jagat Janani, as we say. It is there he covers you with the Maya and reveals himself also. Reveals, he leaves enough holes for you to see through that Maya. The seven veils are successively being removed, and it is the grace of the mother. It is the grace of that universal mother which gave birth to us all to remove those veils. And then what we go? To the Vaikuntha, the fourth dimensional consciousness. The fourth, it's called the four-dimensional man, they say, but actually there are many other dimensions. In the fourth dimension, according to this kind of a, methodology, is the Vaikuntha, the Vishnupura. In the Vaikuntha, who are the denizens? Who are the citizens? It is the bhaktas, like Narad, the great bhakta, like Hanuman, like all these great bhaktas who have dwelt, who have seen Deha buddhyat dasoham, as the great Hanuman had said. From the standpoint of this body, you are the master and I am your servant, humble servant. Jiva buddhyatu tvadamshakaha. From the standpoint of this jiva, the exact translation of that is Jivatma means the individualized soul. From the standpoint of view of the individualized soul, I am a spark of this great fire, of the divine fire, only a spark. But it is essentially shares the characteristics of that fire. It has all that in a microcosm. The fire principle is embodied in the Jivatma. From this Jiva buddhyatu tvadamshakaha atma buddhyatu tvameva aham. From the standpoint of that supreme reality principle of Atmic consciousness, you and I are one. These are the three dimensions of bhakti. And Hanuman has climbed this path to become the next Brahma, as I keep saying to you last time also. Now, so these are the great devotees surrounding in this Vaikuntha and enjoying that relationship. Still there is that divine and the one who is near enough to the divine, close enough to the divine, to feel the joy and bliss of this relationship, this divine relationship, continuously. That is Vaikuntha. So Vaikuntha-puri. Then you have the fifth one, the Kailasapuri, the Shiva, Sadashiv, the highest. Jnanam Maheshwarat Ichet, it says. If you want jnana, if you want health, you pray to the sun god. If you want removal of obstacles, you pray to Vigneshwara. If you want wealth and prosperity, you pray to Lakshmi. If you want jnana, the final liberating knowledge, knowing is fulfilling. Knowing is realization at the highest level of knowing, experiential knowledge of that supreme reality, both in its absolute and relative aspects, both in its unifying and its multiplicity aspects. That is total knowledge. He is the embodiment of all that knowledge. So therefore, Shiva in Kailas, who are its denizens? The Bhutagana. The Bhutagana means all beings. So Bhutagana in Kailas, all beings, all life, as Swami says, Ishwar is life multiplied by infinity. Hiranyagarbha is mind multiplied by infinity. Virat Purusha is body multiplied by infinity. Cosmic body, cosmic mind, and cosmic life. Now he holds the key to the liberation of that. He is the Pashupati. Pashupati. The others, we are all Pashus. We are the animals. I mean, animalish instincts we have. On the one hand, human instincts, the human is poised between animal on the left and the demonic on the right. The animal instinct is the four things that Swami always keeps telling us, led by the animal instincts, animalish instincts. Ahara nidra bhayamaithunam. This is the characteristic of the animal, which we share with the animal. Food, hankering after food. In its excessive ways, I'm saying. You have to sleep too much. that flows ahara, nidra, bhaya, fear. This is our animal. Insecurity of life. Always in the realm of fear. Maithuna. Always leaving into desires. Going after. Mating. The mating instinct, as it is called. The hunger instinct. The fear instinct. The sleep in darkness. You want to rest. Inactivity, dross, ignorance, disease. So these 4 characteristics we share with the animals. And on the right, not on the right, actually they are on the same, it's on the same scale on the left, because left is always vama, is to be eschewed, to be rejected. The demonic is Danava. Manava, Danava, Madhava. Manava means man. Danava means demon. Man becoming with demonic traits, characteristics, qualities, is called a demon. Not the demons that we hear about in the various ways. They are personified in that legends. What are these demonic traits? Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya. The 6. Lust, Krodha, anger, Lobha, greed, Moha, infatuation, Mada, pride or arrogance. Not even pride, it is arrogance. Matsarya, envy, jealousy. Now these make us into demons. These are the demonic traits. So between these 4 and 6, we have 10. We have 10 indriyas, you see. We have this 5 and this 5, karmendriya, jnana. All these 10 indriyas, the senses, we are now directing towards the animalish and not even animalish, to the demonic direction. Now the Sai has given us the key. Prema, love. Satya, dharma, shanti, prema, ahimsa, tyaga. The 6. I told about the 6 demonic traits. The anti-demonic traits, the positive elements, not the negativities, are compressed in this Sai Shadvarga. That is Ari Shadvarga. That are the 6 inimical qualities. Who act like Ari means Shatru, enemies, the 6 enemies, which make one's personality into a demon. You have the other. To counter that, you must cultivate Satya, Dharma. Of course, these are words which you know very well. Shanti, Prema, Ahimsa, and above all, Tyaga. Tyaga is what expresses itself, all these abstract values. What is truth? What is dharma? What is shanti? Of course, these are all felt inside you. But when they express themselves outside, they're expressed in non-violence, non-injury. Of course, non-injury to oneself is also there. That's also an internalization. But there is non-injury to the outside. And above all, sacrifice, sharing, giving. Living for others, benefiting others. Now that is what Swami tells us. So we have this, I have given this introduction with all this to say that it is Swami who has warned us that a man or human being is to be humane. To be humane is to be humanistic. To be humanistic is to possess the qualities not of the animal, not of the demon, but of the 6 that have been mentioned. This is the divine humanism which he is inculcating in us. So therefore, when we go to this Kailas, that is where moksha is in Kailas, liberation, according to this kind of a methodology. So Kailaspuri, we are here in the combination of all these puris in Prashanti Puri. There is this Indra Puri, because Swami keeps telling us, control your senses. Then there is this Brahma Puri. This relates to Dharma. Karma, Dharma, Brahma. And Dharmapuri is Brahmapuri. Because Dharma is the law of all creation, the order, the harmony, the uniting principle. What unites is Dharma. What divides is Adharma. Again, in a very simplistic expression. And the Creator has a total harmony, otherwise this whole universe must work to a certain design, to a certain order, to a certain music, the music of the spheres. That Brahmapuri is here. Because Swami keeps telling us about Dharma, 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 your Swadharma. Nishkama, Swadharma, Brahmarpita, Kaushalya Karma. This is the formulation that I had given you earlier, which you will not, it's not necessary. It says, what is this Dharma ultimately? Dharma is the highest Dharma. The great Dharma Shastras are all Brahma has given. It is through him that Vedas have come, through his instrumentality. So that Dharmapuri is here in the Prashantipuri. Because the one who is the Vedic Purusha, the embodiment of Vedas like Brahma, the embodiment of dharmic teachings is here. So Dharmapuri. So, what is that Dharma? Dedicated acts offered in the sense and spirit of sacrifice and dedication. Ishvara Arpita. Nishkama. Not tainted by desire, selfishness, selfish desires, not other desires. Desires are legitimate. Nishkama, Swadharma, your own, in the sense that you are capable of delivering the goods with the instrumentalities that you have inherited and which you are improving and transforming and so on and so forth. Swadharma, Kaushalya Karma, Yoga Kaushalya, Yoga, anyway. Yoga? Yoga karmasu kaushalyam. Kaushalam. So yoga is doing a perfect action, but perfection is the result of righteousness, of spirituality, living in Brahmic, Atmic consciousness. Whatever you do, whatever you speak, whatever you think, must come right, must be perfect. That is the dhyana, the power of dhyana and mantra ultimately lead you to dharmic action. Brahma karma samadhina. So this Brahma is dedicated to karma, which leads you to dharma, dharma which leads to Brahma. Now that Dharmapuri is the teachings. So all these living beings, ultimately, these two, that means the Puris, ultimately Dharmapuri is over, and then the Vaikuntha I had explained to you. This is also the Vaikuntha, the Manipura, because he is Jagat Janani. He is the mother principle, the love principle. At its, the way we feel love, the earliest expression or benefit that we get from love is from the mother. The nourishing impact, the loving, the tender loving care, as they call it, TLC, in the baby books of the old baby raising. Now, that love principle, the mother principle. But he leads you on with his great attractions like the Devi, like the mother. But then ultimately the mother also will tell you, go now, fulfill yourself. And she gives you, along with the father, of course, or she shows the father. And the father shows the guru, and the guru shows the God, as Swami says. So ultimately you are ending up from the Manipura, this Prashanti Puri is also Manipuri, Mother's Puri, because of the love of the mother. And then you have this Kailas, Kaivalya, Kaivalya Dham, the place of Kaivalya, absolute oneness with that reality, is Kevalatvam. It is not aloneness, absolutism. The oneness of that reality is in Kailas, because the knowledge of that oneness is given to all the Bhutaganas by that one mantra of Ram, which he whispers in the ear of those whose last days are being spent in, we said. So this Kali Yuga Kashi, Kashi is called the Banaras. Kali Yuga Kashi is Prashanti Nilayam. And because how many people he has given, he has, in speaking of this great Vedic scholar, he had said, all this karma that you are doing to his son is not necessary for him, because he is being liberated. He has gone through this jnana. Jnana Pradata is Swami. Jnana Pradata. Satya Bodhaka, Jnana Pradata. Bandha Vimochaka, of course, these are expressions which you know, some of you. So it is the city of God. The city of God, and now it is becoming a city, because the government of Andhra Pradesh has now, this is the secular aspect of it, has now recognized they want a master plan to the city of Puttaparthi. It is becoming a city, from a village hamlet to a township. Now is being recognized as an urban area. Of course, with all its, outside anything which the government does to group things together will actually mean division, more and more problems. But of course, there is this Urban Development Act, which gives you certain facilities and so on. But this is at the level of pure administrative level, which has nothing to do, which in fact is antithetical sometimes to our own spiritual regenerations. But whatever it is, this is the city of God. This is the city of God in this age of Kali, because of the combination of this Indrapuri, Brahmapuri, Manipuri, Vaikunthapuri, Kailaspuri. And we have all these four types of devotion, which have been the expressions of particular devotees at particular times, depending on their own attitudes and aptitudes and their own evolutionary stages, which are all congealed here, combined here, to produce the total harmony and total unison in divine consciousness, because of that personality of the divine Sathya Sai, who is right in front of us. This is the miracle. This is the miracle of God. This is the miracle of this age. Nowhere else, if I may say it with rather a little too strongly, which you will forgive me for those of others who may not really entirely agree with this formulation. But in the world of today, if there is one spot which, with all our limited understandings, we can identify as the Kali, the city of God, and also experience the bliss and joy in an unlimited fashion, before this unlimited personality. We are limited, he's unlimited. Limited companies, as he says. We are keeping limited company here. That's the unlimited divinity. So this is the city of God in the age of Kali. This was the thought that Swami had given that reflection to me, right sitting today in the, thinking of what I should say and what he said and how fortunate we are and how he said it in a very diplomatic way. He doesn't, paroksha priyaha. See, the divinities are always speaking in indirect, the language of indirectness. They don't speak straight to the point, because we are at a level of really misunderstanding if they spoke the real truth. because we are still steeped in untruth, in vice. So, Swami had said about these two words, and then he said, he included Sai in that. When he said Ram, Krishna, Sai, he said all these are forms, or the two words, or the two letters. The uniqueness of these two letters he explained. And they are not letters picked up at random. There is a whole Vedic import in each of these expressions, as the great Vedic scholars have done, but about Ram, about Krishna. Akarshati is Krishna. Karshati, kampayati, dunoti, cultures your mind. Akarshati attracts your mind. There are various ways in which Krishna has come. Hari and Hara. And Ram, of course, Swami had said these. I don't want to repeat what he had said about Ram. So Sai similarly. Saha iti Shiva uchyate. Ai iti Amba prakirtyate. Sai means Samba Shiva. This is the great. So therefore we are in the vicinity of that divine Shiva consciousness which emanates daily there, and which we should be able to absorb within us and live in the consciousness of that divine consciousness, the Shiva consciousness. So to me, and I'm sure to many of you, on this holy Shivaratri time and the great bhajans that we listen, because he's Sarvadharma also, he's Sarvadevata Swarupa. That's why all the 5 Puris are right here. He's not really identifying himself with any one of these even. But in order to climb this ladder of spirituality, you have to mark it out, because this is marking out and putting people into certain categories, classifying them. This is the preoccupation and sometimes the obsession of the scholars. But it is the totality, the sarva aspect. Shiva himself is called Sarvaha. Sarvaha is used for Shiva. Sarvaha, that is why the word Sarva was incorporated, or not incorporated, came out in the revelation of that Sathya Sai Gayathri as the final part of that 24-lettered Sathya Sai Gayathri. The vision of Sathya Sai Gayathri was really the vision of Shiva consciousness. When I said really, I mean it is only for those who have experienced it, like that great scholar who has revealed it in the presence of Sathya Sai. Now, living in Swami expressing these various Sarvadevata Swarupa, we said, that is why we have the cities of God are all combined into one city, and we are the denizens of that city, and we are most fortunate to be in that city. And Swami had said it on this great occasion. And we must nurse this thought, nourish this thought, live on this thought. When we see Swami coming out of that door in the mornings, as I once told you, it is a moving column of divine light, divine linga, because he gave that particular photograph which he materialized to this great Vedic scholar. The linga was there, seated in that coiled serpent seat, in the midst of that, and Swami was there, that fire linga, Jyotirlinga, in the midst of the Jyotirlinga was Swami. And this is my tattva, he said to this great Vedic scholar, Shiva tattva. That is why we must understand Shiva tattva, we must understand Sai tattva, and we must understand the mutual relationship between Shiva tattva and Sai tattva, because that is liberating. Because Shiva is the god of liberation. Jnanam, Jnanamurti, Jnanamurti. Dakshinamurti. You see that great Dakshinamurti is one of the 5 forms of Shiva. And Swami had put that huge sculpture, is it? Frieze on this junior college if you go and see this Dakshinamurti. Jnanabhaskara as he called it. Swami is the Jnanabhaskara. Swami has been identified with one of the 5 forms of Shiva. The first form is this Jyotirlinga, which came at the very primal moment of creation, after the creation of the functionalists, namely Vishnu and Brahma, the creator. They were at a loss how to start off. And then he emerged, this fiery linga emerged, endless, but in the linga form. And they couldn't find its limits. That is the first one. Then came the Ardhanarishvara as a giving hint to Brahma how to create the Purusha and Prakriti principle in one. That is man and woman in one form of Shiva. Ardhanarishvara, half man, half woman. That itself was not explicit enough for Brahma. He came back and said, I am still puzzled. Then he came as Samba Shiva. Made more and more explicit from the energy principle to the principle of Purusha and Prakriti, which is the second one, Ardhanarishvara, and then to the mother and father principle, which is the Samba Shiva principle. That is Samba Shiva. Samba Shiva. And the fourth is Dakshinamurti. And the fifth is Swami. Swami asked, you said 5 forms of Shiva. What were they? When he gave me an opportunity to speak to these youngsters in the junior college who are wondering about Dakshinamurti. Of course, we said Nataraj, we said something else is there in the... But the more and more you think, he is Kali Yuga Shivavatar. This is one of the articles that this great Vedic scholar had, is Shivavatar. He believed implicitly believed with great conviction that this expression of this incarnation is the Shiva in the Kali age. And now we have seen these are some of the loose ends that we get off and on, but we have to tie them up in order to make an eminent sense, harmonize it, and live in that beautiful harmony, in that divine harmony. And he plays the divine music for the individual and music for the collective, for the group, for the society, and for its welfare of this world. Sai Ram. We'll do this Sai Gayatri. Oh. Sai Surya Vidmahe Sathya Dhimahi Tanna Sarvah Prachodayat. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Sai Ram. Sai Ram.